Okay. Andy, you want to hit with the game ball? It's a game ball. You guys all set?
Yep.
All right. Andy, 1 or 2?
1.
Numbers 2.
Hey.
Dane's got the first serve. Okay, guys. Guys, if it hits the lights, you guys know all the rules and stuff. Automatic replay, okay? Okay. 0 serving 0.
And we are back live from Kansas City. It's the Wph Ektelon Fireball 3-Wall Classic. Andy Nett versus Dane Szatkowski. Score here, 0 serve 0.
Actually 1-0, Dave. Dane just started off the match with an ace, now another ace. Both with big reverses. Hit that first reverse down the middle of the court. Andy whiffed it, and Andy just waved at that second reverse. Dane's a shooter, Dave. He'll shoot the ball from anywhere on the court with both hands, but he's also one of the top players from the backcourt.
Replay. Check the ball, please.
Andy doesn't have
a strange rally there, Dave.
Andy does not have a lot of experience on a 3-wall court, but his power and athleticism keeps him in games. He sometimes can pick off a top player like he did yesterday when he defeated Alan Garner.
Dane trying to really impossible kill there off the short hop.
There's that serve from Andy Nett, and Dane takes care of it. We were talking yesterday about, well, everyone's around here saying, well, just wait to see what Dane does with Andy's hard serve. And you saw right there in the very first one of this match. What is that?
Not sure. Looks like Andy a little bit anxious in there. That was just a terrible decision and a worse shot.
Serving 0.
Scores 3-0.
Nice return there from Andy.
Guys,
that's nice. And the ball is replayed because of the light. It was going to be replayed anyway because
two lets on the same
I call hold up.
shot.
The referee is now getting barked at from the crowd.
You see Andy hesitate there.
It's the
Dane mishit that ball.
It's the experience. I'm sorry. It's the experience but out of shape Dane Szatkowski versus the inexperienced but quite athletic Andy Nett, and it shows you that experience
hit him
versus nerves and anxiety.
Andy hit that ball
prevails.
so hard he couldn't get out of his own way.
Okay, I was working.
You know, don't mistake Dane's extra DVs for being out of shape. Dane plays a lot of 3-wall. He's well conditioned for this.
Dane told me he has 15 extra DVs than normal. And that was played absolutely perfect from Dane Szatkowski.
Incredible. Well, Dane conceded if that ball went out the left door, he had no play at it, so he just... It's a nice shot there from Andy.
And you see Terry Peterson hold Dane from falling into the crowd here. Terry knows how to play 3-wall.
0 serving 5.
0 serves 5. Watch the serve from Andy Nett.
Deep.
It's a late call, but a right call from Nikolai Nahorniak.
Second serve.
Look at that serve, Dave.
Point.
Tremendous serve there.
That's a second serve, and he just gets it over the short line.
1 serving 5.
1 serves 5. And then he goes deep.
Point.
Oh, catch it.
I thought it was just in. Sorry.
The ball right up here in their webcast
Almost got
booth.
enough on that one.
Right here.
Those are 2 great serves now in a row from Andy Nett. He had an amazing service game yesterday versus Alan Garner. 3 serves 5 now?
Well, you know, Dave, the courts are just a little bit dusty, and when you hit the ball with that much pace, the ball's going to hit the floor and skid just a little bit. You see that ball skid just a little bit as well.
Wow, Dane stayed back almost like he had to. The inexperience from Andy Nett. Dane knows that most other players would have driven that ball.
I like what Andy's doing, though, right now, Davis. He's sticking to what he's comfortable doing, which is shooting from the backcourt, trying to keep the ball around his waist, avoid that high game.
Andy has scored 4 straight points here on this serve.
You see Andy just takes himself completely out of the point by running around that left hand and shooting that ball right down the middle of the front wall.
Andy Nett last year went to the Jake Plummer family hell of a handball bash up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and had a chance to stay at Jake Plummer's house. Big-time NFL quarterback for Denver Broncos and Arizona Cardinals at one point. But, you know, we talked about Andy Nett as a really good top prospect in college football. He didn't make any pro squads, but he was an All-American football quarterback, and he was in heaven talking to Jake Plummer about the QB position up there. And he got a lot of inspiration talking to Jake. They hit it off instantly. Their personalities are very similar.
I'm a little bit jealous.
Side out.
Left town a little bit too early there after that hell of a bash. I won't make that mistake again. Plan on staying at the Plummer Lake House for just about 3 or 4 days, just where it gets uncomfortable for everyone. That's what I do. You see, there's the inexperience from Andy, letting that ball get all the way back to the bleachers. He actually could have taken that ball out of the air. He could have taken it on the short hop and instead runs back to the front row.
Also, he could have taken 2 more steps back and driven that ball higher, but he decided to do it off balance because he's weary of those bleachers back there.
Dave, this 3-ball really is a young man's game, which makes it all the more remarkable that Dave Chapman's able to come out here at 35 years old, because this game just requires so much power and so much aggression.
7 serving 4.
That is, unless you can just run the ball straight down the side walls with
7 serves 4.
Will.
Make that 8 now.
8 serving 4.
8-4. You see Dane giving Andy a lot of different looks. Bunch of different serves so far.
And that's what has made Dane so good. He's great deep, but like you said, he'll shoot the ball from anywhere, and he's quite accurate.
9 serving.
Takes
4.
unorthodox shots for those that know that it's a type of return where you're on your heels just a little bit because nobody else would do that. Maybe Sean Lenning.
Skip.
You see Dane just reading everywhere Andy's hitting the ball. These two, Dave, actually played for 9th place at the USHA Pro Stop in Detroit. Andy Nett winning that match 21-12, 21-16. Andy getting in that event is a virtue of being a lucky loser from the qualifier that he lost in Los Cab. Made the most of it, though, and finished 9th at that event. Also, Andy Nett making it to the round of 16 at the USHA Nationals, beating Miami's Nelson Quintero, losing to the gunner, Paul Brady. We haven't seen Dane much on the four-wall scene nationally in the last couple of years. He did get an invite by virtue of his top 20 ranking to Detroit, where he finished in 10th there.
Earlier today, we saw Emmett Pashot defeat Nikolai Nahorniak 21-16, 21-5. So now Emmett forges his way into the semifinals to face the winner of this match between Dane Szatkowski and Andy Nett. Dane got here by defeating Ryan Willis last night, 21-19, 21-17, and Andy Nett pulled off that upset against Alan Garner yesterday, 21-18, 21-12.
Score is 10, serving 4.
Score is 10-4 in the first game here.
Great serve there from Dane. That's Dane's 4th ace here.
11, serving 4.
We will be keeping track of aces from this point forward in the event, Dave. Just to let our viewers know just how important the serve is in three-wall handball.
Side out.
Dane's just so relaxed in there, Dave.
4, serving 11.
4 serves 11.
Deep ball.
The sun peeking behind the
Second
clouds
serve.
here makes it a little bit easier for the players right now. Don't have to deal with those shadows.
Dane plays that ball beautifully.
Wow.
Wow, that was the best get of the tournament right there, Dave.
Andy didn't think it was going to make it. He comes
sends him right
barreling
back
in,
to
and
the
then look
same
what
spot.
Dane does to him. Actually, Dane
Side
didn't
out.
realize that Andy was in that position. He thought Andy was barreling in from the get-go. Andy should have just stayed back here. Unfortunately, I don't think Andy would have got it if he would have just been parked back here.
Just an incredible get, though, there from Andy. I mean, that was a over-the-head, no-look, windmill
11, serving
retrieve
4.
from about 80 feet. I think, Dave, you're a lot better off just letting those balls go. Save the energy. How many points can you really win from that far back? I'd say about 1 in 100. And look at Dane just waiting for that ball. Misses it, though.
Side out.
Dane Szatkowski's really laid back here.
4, serving 11.
4 serves 11.
That's a nice touch there from Dane.
Side out.
Like we said, Dave, you don't have to kill the ball flat and through, particularly after driving your opponent to the back court, because your opponent's just so far from the front wall. Even if you kill that ball a foot high, generally it's
11, serving 4.
a good enough shot. You know, you compare that to four-wall, Dave, the farthest you can ever be from the front wall is about 36 or 37 feet, which gives you, a lot more time to pick up those kills than when you're 45 or 50 feet from the front wall. You see right here, see how far back Andy is now.
Dane is making Andy run all over the court here, front and back. Front and back. There's a timeout now called from Andy Nett. You're watching.
Andy rushed in there from about 60
Timeout,
feet and
Andy?
had an easy setup.
Okay, that's your second.
Andy's not used to running 40 feet, setting himself up and shooting the ball. That's just never something you would do in anything but three-wall. You can see Andy now just really trying to catch his breath. Dave, as well-conditioned as an athlete can be, if you're not used to a particular movement or a particular sport, you're going to feel extremely winded.
You're watching the Wph Ektelon Fireball Classic here in Kansas City, Kansas. It's the three-wall courts outside. We're watching this great quarterfinal matchup between Dane Szatkowski and Andy Nett. Later on, we have Luis Moreno and yours right here next to me, Dave Fink, playing at 2 o'clock. At 1 o'clock, right before that, it'll be Bill Mihelis and Dave Chapman. $4,000 for first place, over $15,000 in prize money here. That's the longest 60 seconds
12-4. Second time.
I've seen today.
Okay, guys. Time in.
Nikolai giving the players a
12,
little bit
serving
more
4.
time there.
Deep ball.
That serves long.
Second serve.
That was a smart move from
Side
Andy.
out.
Came in and played the net. Pun was intended.
Well done.
4 serving 12.
4 serves 12.
Not a good serve there from Andy. That ball just hangs
Side
up
out.
off that side wall.
12 serving 4.
Wow.
Side out.
Wow.
Andy has the power to do that from 46 feet deep.
Andy just really turned through that shot. A lot of power.
4 serving 12.
4 serves 12. Wow.
Point.
That is such a tough serve right there.
5 serving 12.
Wow, look at that, Dave.
Point.
That's absolute amazing power with that serve.
I think we're going to have to consider Andy, Dave, as probably the fastest server in the game. We don't have our radar gun with us this week, but I haven't seen us serve with that much
serving
velocity
12.
on it.
Deep ball. Second serve.
Unlucky there for
Side out.
Dane. That ball just slid down the right side wall.
Listen for the score here.
12 serving 6.
12 to 6. Andy gave up his position early there, and Dane shot it right down that left wall.
Dane really just controlling this point, Dave. He's got Andy on a string, side to side.
Nice
and
return,
front to
though,
back.
from Andy.
This is what Dane wants, though. You see Dane has not run one step in this rally, and they're
Side out.
That was a good shot from Andy Nett, though. He recovered,
well done there for Andy.
covered
And
well.
he covered a lot of court there and ended up winning that point.
6 serving 12.
6 serves 12, first game, men's quarterfinal match.
Dane to
Point.
me looks even more casual than usual, Dave. I don't know if he's a little bit tired, trying to
7
save
serving
some energy.
12.
Very hard to say.
Deep ball.
That's a deep ball, right up to us, back down to the court. It's going to be a second serve here. 7 to 12 is the score with Andy Nett serving versus Dane Szatkowski. The Minnesota Dreamboat, Andy Nett.
Second serve.
MDB.
That's true.
And when I asked him, what is your nickname? He said, I am DB.
Point.
He's on the movie website.
He is. He's the Dreamboat.
Eight serving 12.
Sometimes they work. 8 serves 12. Look at that ball just stick out there. That, if this was a 4-wall court, the referee would have been talked to by the players, and then line judges would have appealed that as a slide ball. That ball just skipped off that right side wall.
9
Dane just
serving
misjudged
12.
that ball coming off the side wall. Look at that serve. Just so much power.
But look what
Side
Dane
out.
does to it. 9 to 12. Dane.
Should Andy Nett win this match, Dave, he would set up a rematch of the 2009 USHA
Green
3-wall
ball.
national quarterfinal match with Emmett.
Is that a
That's a
screen,
match that Emmett won.
21-2,
21-2, 21-3.
Yeah.
I think Andy has certainly stepped
Take
up his
2,
game since
12 serving 9.
the last 11 months.
Well, got some sand that says otherwise.
Deep ball.
Andy could only hope for that to hit the light.
Would that still be an automatic replay?
13 serving 9.
I would say no, but you never know.
Right.
Out here, they might
Saw
have house rules.
Saw some questionable house rules in effect yesterday, which were shocking.
We might have to call our chief referee, John Bike, to find out what he would say.
Side out.
They don't go by what the chief referees say here. They have their own rules. Kind of like Sinatra, they do it their way.
9 serving 13.
9 serves 13, Andy Nett in the server's box. That is a great serve right there. The hard one down the right that's closer to the long line seems to be
10 serving
giving these
13.
opponents more fits.
Yes.
Although he has that one that just skips over the line and then he does that over to the left side.
That's just an unreturnable serve right there, Dave. That ball hits and just hops straight out of the court.
I'd love to see what Andy Nett could do on a one-wall court if he played.
11 serving 13.
With those power serves like that.
Not sure if Andy played in that one-wall event in Tucson.
No,
Do we
he
have
didn't.
confirmation on that? No?
12 serving 13.
You know, Dave, a lot of talk in the
Green
crowd.
ball. Retake that over.
That ball came up, stayed up, almost hit Andy.
Very, very casual mistake there from Andy. That was about as easy a
12
setup as
serving
you'll get,
13.
Dave.
Look at that serve right there. Now it's tied, and you know Dane's going to have to take a timeout here.
This is almost like watching
First
John
timeout,
Isner, Dave, at Wimbledon. John Isner with 150 aces in that 12-hour match. This is very similar to that. Andy's already hit 10 aces here in the first game.
And he's bringing this game even now at 12. Just exactly what the doctor ordered. You see
Just
Andy
seems like
is...
he'd rather just serve and not even have to worry about the next shot. Doesn't even...
Yeah.
He seems surprised when that ball comes back.
Thanks.
You're watching the Wph Ektelon Fireball Handball 3-Wall Classic here in Kansas City, Kansas. It's the men's quarterfinal match where Emmett Pashot defeated Nikolai Nahorniak earlier this morning, 21-16, 21-5. He is now in the semifinals to face the winner of this one. We're all tied at 12, though. First game between Dane Szatkowski and Andy Nett. In the bottom bracket last night, it was Luis Moreno over Kevin Pettis. You defeated Marco Lemus, 21-8, 21-19, and Bill Michelis in a real tough tiebreaker win over Tommy Little. Will now face Dave Chapman because he got past Dave Brainerd. That was yesterday, so we're going to see Moreno versus yourself, and then Michelis versus Dave Chapman a little later on after this one between Dane Szatkowski and Andy Nett.
For those of you wondering who will be webcasting during my match with Luis, it will still be me. I'll have a wireless mic attached to the back of my shorts.
Time in.
Hopefully that'll be on a tape delay.
Together at
7
13.
second. Together at 13. I said it was 12-12. I apologize. We'll have Fred Lewis in the booth for your match.
Short ball.
And it's in the garbage can.
Garbage ball.
That garbage can creating a lot of problems, Dave. Tommy Little on garbage duty after his loss last night put that garbage can right in the middle of the court. Emmett ran right into it. And now we've got the garbage can
Second serve.
gobbling up the red fireball.
Look at that serve.
That's a second serve. Dane does really well to get that ball back.
That's even a better...
Just slides another ball.
That was a better second attempt there from
14,
Andy. I don't know if it
13.
could get any better than that serve.
14 serving 13.
14 serves 13 here.
You know, Dave, we did mention Andy's loss to Emmett there, and you said Andy's a much different player now. These courts are just so much faster here in Kansas City than they are in Toledo, Dave. I know you've played at both venues. The court actually, the ball takes off the walls here and
15,
slides down the sidewall. The
13.
courts in Toledo play a lot slower.
A little bit more sluggish there. But this is a very fast ball.
You've also got a lot more grip on the sidewalls in Toledo. It seems like that because of the paint, these walls are not painted, so it's just straight cement.
16
Very
serving
smooth.
13.
16-13. This is a 10-0 run. 10-1 run, excuse me. There was a
Nice
screen
pick
not
up
called,
Replay
and then it
that.
was called.
Thought that it
Okay.
closer to his body, my bad. Replay that over.
Andy actually trailed 13-7 here, now leads 16-13. Certainly want to say hi to
16,
Andy's dad,
13.
John Nett, who's one of the top players in his age group in the world, Dave.
That's
He
out.
Accompanies
ball.
Andy to most of the events. That's actually Andy's sparring partner there in Minnesota.
Now Andy's just powering
17
Dane.
serving 13.
Had a chance to play some pickup with John in Detroit before the tournament started.
Takes that with his left. Watch what...
Oh, nice shot there
Right
from
out.
Dane. You see Dane, very unorthodox, doesn't have any footwork, and yet can kill the ball from a lot of different angles. Killed that ball from
13,
2 feet out in front of him.
13 serve 17.
And you see Dane's serve, Dave, just pretty much putting the ball in play so he can engage in one of these deep court high volleys.
That was a mistake from Andy, and Dane makes him pay for it. When Andy comes back deep, you never know what he's going to do. He's either going to go high or go for a kill shot. That was not even in between. He could have let that ball drop more and tried for the kill
14
shot.
serving 17.
14 serve 17 here.
Nice adjustment there from Andy.
If Andy learned how to use that ceiling.
Dane just catches that side wall. He had that point if he could have kept that ball straight.
Point.
When he's up there, I don't know why he's not popping that to the roof. That's another point now for Andy.
Well, you know, Andy had the straight right shot. He also had the ceiling shot there. Both those shots would have won him that point. Unfortunately for Andy, hits that ball right at Dane, and Dane just gets his hand on it. That ball had so much power on it that it popped off of Dane's hand and rolled out.
15 serve 17. That was another mistake serve from Dane, and yet he's still controlling the action. Look at that get right there from Andy Nett.
Dane now is really finding his zone there in that right corner. Looks like he's taking a lot more concentration, bearing that ball, pinching it in that right corner. My broadcast partner actually doing a little bit of coaching up here, trying to tell Andy to hit that ball to the ceiling. I'm assuming that's what those hand signals meant.
16 serving 17.
16 serve 17.
Dane, not a good serve there from Dane.
Again, another
nice power there from Andy. Dane does really well there, Dave, just to get that ball back.
New ball.
And here's what we talked about, Dave. That ball's out in the parking lot. We'll bring a new ball in here, and that's a big advantage to Dane. Now, if Andy's able to get Dane out here in the next 1 or 2 points, he'll come in serving with the new ball, and that'll be a huge advantage.
The score is 17-17. Andy takes a timeout. It's the Wph Ektelon Fireball Handball Classic. We are asking you, not begging you, but asking you to join the WPH. WPHpass.com. That's PASS.com. WPHpass.com. Get your membership for this live webcast. We're going to throw in a free WPH Dry Fit t-shirt and a Dave Chapman instructional handball DVD as part of an incentive for this special live webcast, on top of all the other goodies that we give you when you join the WPH. You can easily get your membership at WPHpass.com. WPHpass.com. You have your membership, Dave?
That's true. I love it. I have access to all the great DVDs. Also, spend a lot of time on the WPH.live. WPHlive.tv.
Had some server issues on that website last 10 hours or so, so if you're trying to go to the main website, there is an issue there. Certainly tell your friends about
at 17.
How to get to the access of this webcast. It is for WPH members, but we'll let you cheat. That's a nice return. Watch what this ball does here.
Nice shot there from Dane. Just a beautiful shot.
Now Dane is up 18-17. Listen for the score.
18 serving 17.
18-17. This is the first game. That's a reverse.
Nice shot there from Dane.
Andy has to be really frustrated with himself. He fought back. He was in control. And Dane just lackadaisically said, you know what, I'm going to step it up here.
You know, this all started with that easy setup that Andy had. He could have gone to the ceiling. He could have gone straight down the right. That's a great shot there from Dane. Instead, Andy just drove that ball right at Dane. Dane fought it off and killed it into that left corner. He's been in the server's box since. He's scored
7 straight.
Seven straight.
We're at 20 and a chance to win this first one. 7 straight points for Andy Nett.
Serving 17. Deep ball.
That's actually a smart serve right there. That's the first time he went down the middle. A little bit to the right.
Tough loss for Andy. Should he go on to lose his first game because he played so well. Andy's looking a little bit more comfortable now from the back court.
Side out.
That's Dane trying to shoot a 48-foot kill shot to the right corner. Actually, he had the corner open. He didn't have to hit it 2 inches high.
Looked pretty good.
17 serving 20.
I don't know who you'd favor at this point, Dave. Andy down 17-20, but we know what he can do with that serve.
Wow, that's a nice serve. Good
Great
return. You see Andy really break over the top with his left hand there. Miss hit. That's kind of lucky he did miss it.
That's a tough ball right there. And he does well to get that ball back and gets a lot on it. I'm surprised Dane didn't fly kill that ball. There's a nice shot there from Andy.
And that's a point.
Real nice rally there, Dave. Andy beating Dane in his own game, that deep court drive game there.
That shot that Andy mishit was actually fortunate because I think he would have hit that one over the clubhouse behind us.
18 serving 20.
18 serves 20, first game. Andy Nett serving. He's wearing all black.
With a Daniel LaRusso headband.
Oh, he gets the crack and he gets another point now, 19 to 20.
You see, with all that spin combined with that, slick side wall, that serve is almost unplayable off that right side wall. Dane seems to think that ball's going to come into his body, but it just hits that right wall and straightens out. I'm surprised he hasn't made that adjustment, Dave. That's not a good serve there from Andy. Nice shot,
Green
though.
Ball.
Oh, it could have been an avoidable.
That actually was an avoidable right there, Dave.
Andy backing into Dane.
That's one of those, he didn't do it maliciously or intentionally, but it is an avoidable.
Right, you don't have to.
It doesn't have to be mean-spirited, Dave, to be an avoidable. It's just a part of the game, and it, unfortunately for Dane, was not called.
Deep ball.
Oh, that's deep. Andy just missing that deep crack to force a 20-21 score here.
Here, a second serve. We saw Andy with some problems with his second serve yesterday. Double faulted a couple of times. That's going through his mind right now.
And there it is.
Another one.
At 19, he double fault. Good call there, Dave.
Actually, didn't want to come out and jinx him and say he was going to double fault, but I had that icky feeling there.
But we also saw him numerous times yesterday get some very close, just over the short line, second serves that were aces.
Well, I think all those are out the window when he double fault at 19-20, Dave. Well, he gets back in. The double fault ends up not costing him anything. We've seen Dane shoot 2 balls at game point with his right hand, missed them both. That one from much closer range. Andy now coming in with a first serve at 19-20. Once trailed 17-20, also led 17-13.
Replay. He's on the ground.
They're going to play through this?
That looked like it could have been another avoidable. Andy's making no attempt to get out of the way of.
But he has to stay down on that play.
No. He went down. He hit and went down. I think, Dave, if you watch the tape, which I'm sure we always do.
19 serving 20.
19 serves 20.
Andy has not hit. His last 3 serves have been very mediocre by his standards. There's a great serve there. Dane does well to get that ball back.
Bad. Andy stays down like he's supposed to.
I felt like that was another avoidable there on the first one, not the second one, Dave.
Right, I agree.
But the first one could have very well been 3 avoidables.
Scores 20 serving 19.
In the last 4 rallies.
Now you're seeing Andy gets a pretty good serve out. Dane is back. He flips one in the middle, and that next shot from Andy, he's indecisive. He doesn't know if he should go for a kill shot or go and drive the ball. And what he's doing is hitting the ball about 10 feet off the front wall down the middle. Do you feel that he should just either go to the roof or just go for a flat corner kill somewhere?
Well, Dave, as you know, when the game gets close, every ball seems to gravitate right towards the middle of that court. Middle. Andy.
Is that inexperience? Or just not being comfortable with yourself yet enough on these courts?
I think that has a lot to do with it. These are also some pretty difficult shots. He's taking balls out of the air from about 30 feet. I think he should be taking that ball back to the ceiling, pushing Dane farther back out of the court and waiting for a better opportunity. I don't think it's a great opportunity to end the rally, Dave, from 30 feet, taking the ball out of the air with your offhand coming off the side wall. Give credit to Dane, though, Dave, because he's forcing Andy into some very difficult decisions and difficult shots on that serve. Andy, unfortunately for him, has not hit his best serves since he's had 19 points.
Game point, serving 19.
Dane will serve for the 4th time now with 20. This
And
should
here it
do
is.
right here.
Dane
And
is
it
not
does.
going to miss
Good
that
game,
one.
guys, 5 minutes.
The crowd liking what they're seeing out here. 21-19, Dane Szatkowski defeats Andy Nett. We are going to take a quick timeout. They're going to take a 5-minute break, and so are we. So you stick around here for the Wph Ektelon Fireball Handball Classic in Kansas City, Kansas, live at WPHlive.tv. Do also consider getting your WPH membership at WPHpass.com. That's WPHpass.com. For the special webcast, we're going to throw in a free Dave Chapman instructional DVD. It retails for $59.95. Also a dry fit t-shirt that is logoed with the WPH logo on the front and the back. We're going to give that to you as well as everything else in that package. We're going to take a quick time out. We'll be back in just a bit. Stick with us here. WePlayHandball.com.
We're playing the boys from St. Louis. Rockland and Gary Craig. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Tommy, on the court. Yeah, on the court, right here.
Finish your paper? Katie, did you finish your paper?
Not yet.
Oh.
It's due tomorrow. So, can't break. I'm really close. I have just like a page left. I really should just go finish it right
Just
now.
go. It'll take a little break, then do it, yeah. I know I can't do paper for more than 3 or 4 hours, so then your brain gets tired.
Yeah.
And also your ideas stop flowing, too.
Yeah. I'm almost done.
I'm probably on the air right now. I don't even know.
Oh, are
They
you?
probably didn't take me off.
Are you?
Everyone's listening to me.
First game's over? First game's over here?
Yeah, first game 21-19. Dane has a habit of this tournament of getting it close.
Yeah.
He's playing better than yesterday, though. Andy's serves are still on. He got like,
I've never seen anybody hit the ball so hard in my life.
yeah, he hits the ball pretty hard.
It's crazy.
Bowling and bowling. Good, how are you?
Really? He said, no, you have 2. And I sat here for a while, and I'm after my
Need to.
That's my stuff.
Yeah.
Well, man.
Yeah, I tried. I tried. Yeah, no, it's just experience, you know, and I'm gonna get him eventually. My shots weren't there. Like my fly shots, they're normally there.
I didn't see the first game, or I didn't see the beginning of the first game.
Oh, I was doing pretty well.
First game, I heard you were on fire.
Yeah, that's how I normally play that
Second
first game.
You seemed like you were tightened up and you were trying to do too much.
Actually, I was trying to loosen up, and I think I was so loose. When I was flying the ball, it was just skipping like a foot.
Right.
Okay, guys, let's go. A minute. I'm strict out here.
Nice and warm in there?
Yeah, it's real warm.
Yes, it is.
Water's warm?
Yeah. Come on in, it's fine, Billy. You're up next. I'll be sitting back here in the shade no matter win or loss. Oh no, if I lose, I gotta rep.
You might.
Shit. Don't tell Andy.
I'm sweating out there too, Dane.
Yeah, it's hot.
Okay, guys, let's get going as soon as you're ready.
Score, Andy.
Hey guys, Andy, you served the second game?
And we are back live from the Kansas City Athletic Club for game number 2. Andy Nett serving. There it is. That is the shot from Andy Nett.
Your lounge resident, Dave. Looked like he took some advice from you there, Andy. That was an overhand lob kill with a a nice hinder.
And a
you
nice
see
little
Andy
block.
sort of.
Dane had to run
He set
around.
1 serving 0.
Andy actually setting a screen.
Point.
That was like a pick and roll play when you set the pick. Andy off to a nice start here. Would have liked to have had those 2 points at the end of the first game.
0.
That's long.
Deep ball.
And they moved the garbage can back into play here.
The garbage can is in play. It's part of the court.
Andy Nett loses the first game,
Second
21-19. Game number 2 here. A couple quick points.
I like that serve. Would have liked it more had he been able to not catch that side wall.
Let's see if he goes up to the roof here.
Side out. Zero serving 2.
0 serves 2. Dane changing his serve here.
Point.
We have Dave Chapman and Bill Mihalis coming up right after
1
this one.
serving 2.
1 serves 2. There it is.
That's a great shot. Dane does well to bring that ball back into a neutral position there.
It's also nice to see that Andy Nett's taking advice from somebody that doesn't even know how to play 3-wall.
Or handball.
Point.
Good point. Dane Szatkowski getting that side out with a beautiful kill shot in the right corner.
2 serving 2.
And Dane's wearing a groove into that right corner right now, Dave. That's a lob serve ace. Dane hitting
Point.
that serve about 10 miles per hour, and Andy letting that ball get back to the third row before.
I think Andy thought
Taking
that
a
ball was
swing.
going to be long. It just took a very lackadaisical
serving
approach
2.
to it. 3-2.
You know, I tried a lob serve once in 3-wall, Dave. I was playing Armando Ortiz. 20-20 in the first game, hit a lob serve. He stepped in and rolled it out completely flat with his left hand. It was the first and last attempt.
4 serving 2.
4 serves 2.
We hope the Magic Man is tuned in Oxnard, California.
This is going to go to the ceiling because Andy listens to his elders.
And look where the ceiling got him.
And he almost squelched
Point.
it in there.
For those of us that don't know what a squelch is, Dave, can you?
But you do know what it is.
I do, but for those of us who don't,
5 serving 2.
I don't happen to be one of them.
It hits 6 walls and just barely makes a front wall.
Side out.
They call that a Boston squash.
Well,
Guess we call it a
mine's
squelch.
boast spelled backwards.
The Q is silent.
2 serving 5.
And it has a B sound.
Nice serve. Point.
I'm surprised we're not seeing the returners play a little bit farther back against
3
Andy's serve,
serving
Dave.
5.
3
I haven't
serves 5.
serve any short ones. And he should have taken that ball
Point.
before it got to the left wall, but it didn't matter. That's a tough shot there, Dave, when that ball just barely comes up off that left side wall. He made it, though.
4 serving 5.
You heard the score, 4-5. I like that serve there.
Point.
Surprised Dane missed that one. That's the
Heads up.
kind of shot we're talking about right there. That's one of the serves that you get a pretty good look at. You don't want to miss that
Together at 5.
because you know there's so many serves coming that you won't be able to return.
Short ball. Second serve.
5 serves 5. It's the second serve.
Nice second serve there.
Point.
Dane mishits that. That's the second serve down the left that Dane's been unable to return consecutively.
6 serving 5.
6 serves 5. I like that one.
Point.
Dane can't get the back. He's going to have to call a timeout if Andy scores another point here.
That's 3 consecutive unreturned serves down the left. Dane had his hand on all 3 of them.
5.
He was there in plenty of time.
Deep ball. Second serve.
See if he goes down the right here. No, he doesn't. Wow.
Dane just barely gets that ball back. I don't really like that shot there from Andy, Dave. And you see what it got him.
Side out.
That's what happens when you take advice from the play-by-play man. Maybe you should look to the color man.
My advice was when you're standing around the short line to pop it up there. He's been, if he's not going to go for the kill shot, that's the one that I want him to go to the ceiling on.
That's really the worst point Andy can play.
Thanks.
Andy runs 30 feet behind the back line, then sprints in 50 feet to pick up that next shot and misses it. It takes about 3 or 4 rallies to get your win back, Dave, after a couple of sprints forward and back like that. You see Andy should take that ball out of the air, doesn't. Big setup here for Dane. And Dane calmly rolls that ball into the left side wall.
Score is 7-7.
Together at 7.
These two, Dave, separated by just 2 points after about an hour and 10 minutes of play. Now Dane has taken the lead, 8-7. Dane won the first game, 21-19.
8 serving 7. Point.
Dane is one of the streakiest players you'll see, Dave. Just seems like he can turn it on whenever he wants. Scores 5 or 6 points in a row.
9 serving 7.
That's sort of an array of kills.
That's what he did last night versus Brian Willis.
Point.
There's another.
Now Dane just completely conserving energy, hitting this lobbed serve and taking that weak return and rolling it.
Andy's trying to ask for a screen, but he actually screened Dane prior. 10-7.
Not a good serve there, but it slides on that sidewall. Look out.
I got it.
That can put an eye out.
Point.
That's why we wear protective eye gear while webcasting, Dave. It's mandatory. Andy takes a timeout here after hitting that ball into the 5th row.
Actually, he hit it out of the park. It went over here. They had to chase it down in the neighbor's swimming pool. This is a neighborhood handball facility here in Kansas City.
Unfortunately, we didn't know it was a skinny dipping party, so it was a little uncomfortable.
11 serving 7.
Here, let me go get it.
Short ball.
That was a strange serve from Dane.
Second serve.
That's a better return there from Andy.
Every single time, Dane just loafs back and then off balance.
Well, Dane's just really in a good groove right now.
12 serving 7.
12 serve 7.
Side out.
The cloud cover has come in here, Dave, so the sun is not a factor at all. Just a perfect temperature to play handball.
7 serving 12.
7 serves 12.
Nice shot there from Andy.
8 serves 12 now.
8 serving 12.
He'll get it. He does. Actually wins the point with an over-the-shoulder, running backwards, no-look, 3-wall crack out. Andy not expecting that ball to crack out off the left side wall. Should have been.
Score is 12 serving 8.
The score will be 12-8 after they get back from their timeout. You watch the quarterfinal match between Dane Szatkowski and Andy Nett. Earlier today, it was Emmett Pachot defeating Nikolai Nahorniak, 21-16, 21-5. First game here went to Dane Szatkowski, 21-19. And now he also leads
I just said it, Jimmy.
The second game as we take a 60-second timeout. Coming up next after this one, Bill Michelis and Dave Chapman, the lower side of the bottom bracket quarterfinal match. And then right after that one, you will play the natural, Luis Moreno, in a rematch of last year's quarterfinals in Toledo at the USHA 3-Wall National Championships, Toledo, Ohio. You see Bill Michelis getting ready for Dave Chapman. He has the iPod going. He's doing some exercises down on Armstrong Avenue here. We can see from our broadcast booth.
10 seconds.
We see Bill out there doing some high leg kicks. Dave, I saw you doing a number of those this morning before your match. Unfortunately, for the people in line at the buffet, those high leg kicks were directed at them to clear your path.
12 serving 8.
I try to burn some calories before I eat.
That's a great shot there from Andy.
Side out.
That was a good shot. If he would have missed that ceiling, it wouldn't have been the same result. That ball would have flown out of the court and we would have caught it.
8 serving 12.
8 serves 12 here. Let's see if he goes to the right side or back to the left where the sun is.
Too hard.
It seems to me that Andy has a good serve, but he doesn't know what to do after that serve.
It's almost as though he's not expecting the ball to come back. He's hit so many aces that he hits what he thinks is going to be another ace, and he's not prepared for the next
12
shot.
Serving 8.
And he gets it, wills it in with a little body English.
Side out.
Dane likes it too.
I think he would have liked it more if it skipped.
8 serving 12.
8 to 12. Here comes that vicious serve from Andy.
Deep ball.
That's a good call from the ref.
Second serve.
Nice shot there from Dane.
Andy might get this.
Andy would have been much better off
for the left hand
leaving that ball. No hand, just letting it go. Even if he gets that ball back, Dave, he's 90 feet from the front wall.
12 serving 8.
12 serves 8. That was good.
Good ball. Just before the line. Hit the line.
I saw that good.
Nikolai watching that ball closely. Makes the call, despite the glare from the Dreamboat, MDB.
Here's where Andy doesn't know what to do with that ball. He just doesn't know what to do. Not like he's just a little uncomfortable up there. I think he can take 50% off and go to that same corner and get a better result.
14
hit the ball
serving
too hard.
8.
And Dane starting to run away with this match now, Dave. I think the result would have been quite a bit different had Andy been able to maintain that lead and capture that first game. It just looks like Andy's lost a lot of his confidence. That ball's on the roof.
Point.
It's twice now that
Terry's got it.
Andy has been exploited on that lob from Dane. It's almost like a lob ace.
Well, Andy's just not making the adjustment there, Dave. Should be taking that ball out of the air on the short hop.
15 serves 8.
Here he goes. That's a good shot there.
Side out.
That's just how easy this game could be at some points.
Dane's been smart when he's seen Andy coming in to take that ball out of the air. He's either put some more on that serve
point
or changed the direction of it. Hit it down the left. There's an unreturnable serve there from Andy.
You heard Dane say, can we get that dead ball back? The one that Andy hit over the complex. Dane wants that one back because now Andy has that hot serve. He's cracking this thing in the mid-80s.
15.
Great shot there from Andy. Followed that ball all the way down to his hand, straight down that right side wall, and just pinched that right corner.
10 serving 15.
10 to 15.
Point.
Oh, wow.
Now Dane really wants that dead ball back.
Now it's 11 to 15. We've seen Andy do this the whole tournament. Timeout call, very smart from Dane Szatkowski.
Scores 11 serving 15.
Very smart timeout there. You know, Dave, that serve was hit so hard, it reminded me of watching Robert Sastry hit the ball with the paddle.
You're watching the Wph Ektelon Fireball Handball Classic here in Kansas City, Kansas at the 3-wall courts. Dave Vincent alongside Dave Fink, Omar Lemus on the camera. Earlier today it was Emmett Pashot defeating Nikolai Nahorniak 21-16, 21-5. And Dane Szatkowski defeated Andy Nett in the first game 21-19. We're here in game number 2.
Emmett will play the winner, Dave, of this match. Still to be determined.
For sure. For sure, man.
This is one of the closest matches we've seen out here this weekend, Dave.
Not backing out.
It's really been a weekend filled with a lot of really good competitive matchups. A lot of these players, Dave, have never played one another in 3-wall. That really makes it a lot more compelling. We just really don't know what to expect. You have guys like Nick Nahorniak taking on Eric Kilgren. They'd never played 3-wall before. Emmett taking on Nick Nahorniak, also a first-time matchup. Marco Lemus and I playing for the first time in 3-wall. And as you know, Dave, when you play someone for the first time, it can create some really interesting matchups.
This is the longest 60-second timeout.
Well, you said that about the last one.
It just beat it.
You know, you see, Dave, the referees do not have a watch on them. That's a huge mistake, Dave. The referees should have a watch with a second hand on it at all times. Being able to track the seconds during every timeout. Very important.
Listen for the score. 11-15. Look at that serve there, Dave.
That timeout did nothing to slow down Andy's serve. Andy almost like a Goran Ivanisevic.
Do you think he's going to go to the left here? He's hit 7 consecutive serves down the right
I think he
wall.
should stay down the right. He's got that hot hand, and
that's frustrating.
Bring 12.
15-12. I like that serve.
Nice 2-wall shot there from Andy.
Side out. I'm not so sure.
When we saw Andy double fault in the first game at 19-20, we just saw him hit a serve into the ground there.
12 serving 15.
At 12-15. Both times came back and got the side out.
Point.
13 serves 15.
13 serving 15.
A lot of people, Dave, prescribe to the theory that whoever double faults the most loses. I happen to be one of them.
Side out. $15 serving 13.
15-13.
Point.
Andy gets a little bit lucky there with that return, nearly rolls it out, but just stayed back there in the back court.
15 serving 13.
Doesn't make a move to the front court to try and cover that next shot. That's a nice shot there from Dane, Dave. Great
That's a good shot right there. That's with the left hand.
You just don't expect that kind of shot with that kind of power and pace coming from the offhand from 35 feet, Dave. He came over that ball like you talked about earlier.
13 serving 16.
Straighten that ball out. Andy need to stay down on that ball.
This is where I'd like to see Andy go to the ceiling. But the 2-wall pass is good enough. Now Andy's scoring another point here.
I got it. Then.
You know, when you do get a little bit tight, Dave, late in the game, that 2-wall pass can really save you because you don't have to be as precise. You can actually just drive that ball pretty much as hard as you can swing, not worry about skipping that ball or leaving it up. Andy missed about 4 setup opportunities there. Hit him right back at Dane, but ends it with a brilliant 2-wall pass.
14-16.
Short ball.
That ball
you put a little bit extra into that serve, Dave. I really feel like you have to guess with Andy. Pretty easy to read if he's going left or right. You've got to guess on that short or deep, though. That's out.
Deep ball.
Big mistake there from Dane. You know, we've seen Andy hit so many great serves, Dave, and that serve was not great. That ball bounced into the left side wall. Gave Dane a real clean look at that serve.
Score is 15-16. This ball's going to be all over the place.
Right to him.
That might slide.
Dane shoots it. Dane did not get himself set up to hit that shot, Dave. Had plenty of time, didn't bend, caught that ball a little bit late, and he skipped that one badly, Dave. Missed that by about 10 feet.
Together at 16.
Now we're tied at 16.
Just like the first game, Dave, we were tied at 16 as well.
Ball in.
Not sure what happened there.
I don't know. They were all saying ball, so I called ball. I didn't see it, but sorry about that. Dane stopped too.
What happened there?
I think our referee called a ball on the court. I'm not.
Didn't break.
Together at 16.
I think it was a shadow of a bird flying across the court, and the referee thought it was a ball and said that the ball was on the court.
Okay.
Dane looked up and said, "Where's the ball at?"
Not a good shot there from Andy.
The score is tied at 16 here. Dane won the first one, 21-19. This is a quarterfinal match. Winner plays Emmett Peixote.
Andy's still undecisive with that fly kill with his right hand.
Together at
Looked like he
16.
thought about shooting that ball in the right corner. Didn't commit to it. Set it up. Nice hustle there from Andy.
Point.
Even if he makes that shot, Dave, he hit that corner so wide that ball would have bounced into the left side wall for a big setup for Dane. So just not a good shot there, particularly with your body completely out of control. Running backwards and trying to stop and shoot.
You got all 3 timeouts. You want to take one? It's, sorry, I can't even read this. 17-16. First timeout, Andy Nett.
Score is 17-16. Andy Nett takes a timeout here.
17-16, Dane.
John Bike actually could be watching Nick Nahorniak right now as a potential chief referee. Nick doing a nice job. He's in control. What I don't like, though, Dave, and I mentioned this at the last time out, is that our referee does not have a watch on his wrist. That's a very important factor. Every referee should have one. I believe in the next couple of months, Dave, we should be selling a WPH watch at thehandballstore.com. That way all referees can be equipped to count the seconds, let the players know when there's 20 seconds before time is in. As you know, Dave, just sitting there, you're not really sure if it's 60 seconds or 90 or 2 minutes, and we've seen a lot of these timeouts extend beyond 2 minutes that are supposed to be 60 seconds.
I want to thank those that have helped donate to make this tournament a success. Smart Media USA, Lou Sharon, Tombo Burke, the Vickers, Jeff Gouch, Buddy Haas, Sacred Heart Home, Caw Valley Companies, as well as a whole list of others that have helped out. The sponsorship and volunteering. We're currently at the 60-second mark right now, Dave, according to my stopwatch.
I will tell our audience that that was staged.
Actually, I'm looking. There's a stopwatch right here on this piece of equipment we have.
Okay.
You can look for yourself.
17 serving 16.
17 serve 16.
That's an ace right there. Beautiful serve there from Dane. You see Dane made it look like he was going to hit that floating lob serve, and at the last second gave it just a little bit more. Ran that ball right out of the court. Andy has to expect that, almost like sitting on the fastball, Dave, and then adjusting to the curve, the off-speed stuff. Not a bad return, but Dane just makes one of the best kills he's hit in the entire match, Dave. Played that ball perfectly off the sidewall.
19-16 now.
19 serving 16. Nice call. Check the ball, please. Side out.
Unfortunately, Dave, with all the great shots we've seen this match, the only clapping that we've heard the entire match was for someone calling a wrist ball on themselves. That's unfortunate.
Timeout. Second timeout. Andy Nett.
I really don't know why anyone would clap
16,
when someone calls
19.
a wrist ball. That's just part of the game. I'd rather see him clapping for great shot making.
Andy Nett is serving here, but calling a timeout, 16-19, game number 2 after losing the first one, 21-19. After this game, we are going to catch the Bill Michelis, Dave Chapman match right here on the live webcast. If you haven't purchased your WPH membership, we have a special incentive for this live webcast. We're throwing in the Dave Chapman Instructional Handball DVD, a WPH Dry Fit logo t-shirt, as well as all of the other items as part of that membership. Please join us in that membership purchase, because it gives you and us a chance to do more of these events and offer prize money and do more live coverage. You support us, we'll bring more cameras. We'll bring more pro stops your way into even your region.
Certainly, Dave, we want to thank Omar Lemus for the incredible job he's doing this week. Doing all the filming here for us, taking care of all the technical aspects and making us look as good as we can look. Not saying it's good.
What we're going to do is we're also going to throw Omar in as part of the membership. You purchase your membership, you can have Omar Lemus.
Just for 24 hours.
Just 24 hour.
He's useful, though.
Rent a cameraman. You can get your membership at thehandballstore.com. As we get back in to the court here on 1 minute and 11 seconds after that timeout.
Time in.
16 to 19 is the score.
16 serving 19.
It's an amazing serve right there. Might have been one of the best. Although Dane did get it back, but it's more of Andy's four-wall serve there.
19.
I thought that serve was a little bit too close to the middle of the court. There's a tremendous, that's a rocket right there, Dave. Just a blast.
Score is now 18 to 19, and the crowd's starting to get a little noisy here.
Thanks. Sorry about that.
Very exciting, Dave. I think everyone here wants to see a tiebreaker. These guys are so evenly matched, it almost would seem fitting that we would play out a tiebreaker here.
18 serving 19.
Should have won that first game. Dane, it seems like, should win this game. We'll see if...
That was a miss serve from Andy.
That's a great shot there from Andy. Andy got himself so low. Andy's a tall guy, Dave. Andy is tall and lean. He got himself right down to the ground there.
Together
tied
at 19.
3 straight points for Andy after that timeout.
Oh, he
Make
just
it 4
crushed
straight
that
points,
serve,
and now
Dave.
Andy
Just
has a
an
chance to
incredible
force a breaker.
serve. You can see Andy give that one just a little bit extra, Dave.
Absolutely great serve right there. That's the best serve of Andy's tournament.
Almost like a golfer on a par 5, Dave. Just gave it just a little bit more juice off the tee.
Does he go to the left or does he stay to the right? You see, look at Dane. He's a little off center to the right here, leaning
Andy's
to the right.
got to stick with what's got him here. Straight down the right.
Point serving 19.
I think he's going to squeak one out to the left here.
I got sand too. It says he won't.
And there it is. Andy Nett forces the tiebreaker, winning 21 to 19.
We will flip a second coin here, Dave. These players traded 21-19 victories there.
That was 5 straight points after that timeout for Andy Nett, all on serves that were unreturnable.
And they both got 19,
actually got one return serve out of that Andy killed.
And he killed that ball with his left hand from the short line. Otherwise, you're right, Dave. It was 4 unreturned serves. Tremendous comeback there. This has definitely become the match of the tournament. It really couldn't be any closer than this, Dave. Just players completely evenly matched. Great contrast in styles, too, Dave. We've got the rifleman, the dreamboat, Andy Nett against sort of that unorthodox KG veteran 3-waller Dane Szatkowski.
We are going to take a quick 5-minute break here at Kansas City for the Ektelon Wph Fireball Handball Classic. We'll be back in just a few minutes. You stay close to WePlayHandball.com.
I'm not hearing you.
I love it, Bill. Thank you to both.
Got my Kelly shirt. Are you coming down tonight? I think so. Are you playing the finals tomorrow? I hope so. You come on down. I forgot my shirt at the hotel room. I should have worn it. What? Shane Connolly. Yeah. He's good. He doesn't get out much anymore. One of the times, yeah. That was back when we were younger and we could do all that. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I got a wet ass. What? You already got it written down? No, I'm actually going to write it right now. Yeah, we're going to have to pick another number, guys.
What did you pick last time?
Okay, Dane, you.
I like 2.
The 2.
Yeah. I was going to say, I thought you did.
I like the 2s because I'm normally old men.
You guys know that if you're drafting, just pick 2.
Yeah. Normally old men, well, so no, I'll sometimes change it up because old men normally pick 1 for some reason. If you get an old guy, it's pretty much, sure. No, but for like writing it down, you know? Yeah. What's up?
7 minutes.
Okay.
From now on the timeout, just
Okay.
let us, we'll let you know how much time.
Okay, sure, yeah. Yeah, I gotta go, yeah. Okay, guys, come on, let's go. It's been like 6 minutes. Come on. You guys are taking forever. Let's go. Okay, Dane serves in the tiebreaker.
And we are back live here in Kansas City for the tiebreaker. Andy Nett defeated Dane Szatkowski in the second game 21-19 after he lost in the first one 21-19. And here it is, 0 serve 0.
Serving 0.
Nice return there from Andy.
Look where he put that.
Looked like he wasn't going to be able to get that serve back, and Dane looks like Dane might have lost his legs here, Dave. That ball was well up, and that ball sat up and almost stopped.
0 serve 0. Let's watch this serve from Andy. Man, that's smoked.
It's a nice return. Dane just looks like, I don't know if he's got some cramps in his legs or what, Dave, but we saw in those first 2 rallies, he just made no effort to get to those balls. I think you could have had those balls, Dave.
I don't know about that. Okay. 1 serve 0.
Point.
And he gets another point right there, 2-0. I was talking to Nick Scherzer and Tommy Little, who are basically the tournament directors down here, and they said that that Andy Nett is the player of the tournament so far. Sportsmanship in the way that he's really a crowd favorite down here. And he's infectious.
I don't know why no one's ever said that about us.
Never has.
Dane hits the deck there. You know, Andy has wins over Chip Morales, Armando Ortiz, Dane Szatkowski, now Alan Garner, possibly Dane Szatkowski here in 3-wall.
Well, he beat Dane in the 4-wall already. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but you're talking about 3-wall. It's completely different.
4 serving 0.
4-0. Quick 4-point lead here.
Short ball.
And that ball
looked like Dane made some kind of hand signal there. Dane might have agreed that that was good.
I saw it short.
I believe they call it a point.
Second serve.
Second serve. Here's I'm worried about a double fault here. Okay, gets it in.
Likes to go to the left side.
Total miss it. That's an avoidable.
That is an avoidable, but
that's the definition of an avoidable right there.
Get out of your way, Dane.
It actually has Andy Nett's picture in the dictionary next to the word avoidable. 4 serve 0 again. That one's deep.
Deep ball.
Andy likes to go to the left side on the second serve.
Nice safe serve there. Dane with a nice return.
Let it go out.
It'll be out. It is.
Now you're going to have to see a timeout from Dane Szatkowski. I cannot see him just allowing Andy to score 5 straight points without a timeout.
I'll tell you though, Dave, that timeout between games seemed to have a terrible effect on Dane. It seemed like he stiffened up and tightened up a little bit. He hasn't been able to move here at all. I think he'd be better off just trying to get himself in this game here, trying to get those legs moving. But right now, he's just...
First timeout, Dane, 6-0.
Looks like he's got 2 left feet out there, Dave.
Now it's the timeout called. You're right. He just doesn't seem like the same guy. He's lackadaisical now, where maybe he should throw a little intensity out there. The score is 6-0 in favor of Andy Nett. You are watching this live webcast. WePlayHandball.com of the Ektelon Fireball Handball Classic in Kansas City. Dane Szatkowski defeats Andy Nett in the first game, 21-19, but then Andy comes back and defeats Dane. He was down 16-19, gets in the service box, scores 5 straight points to force the tiebreaker, and now sees a 6-0 lead against Dane Szatkowski here.
That's true, Dave. You know, mentally it can be very difficult. You're 2 points from winning the match in that second game with a nice 19-16 lead. You know, to lose that lead and eventually lose that game and find yourself basically in a race to 11, that can be a little bit emotionally deflating, particularly when your legs are a little bit heavy and you're having a hard time catching your breath.
10 seconds.
Time should be in right now.
Bill Mihilis trying to warm up a little extra. He gets 15 minutes to warm up, and he's been warming up for the last 2 hours.
Okay. You know, it's funny, Dave, we'll mention this real quickly here, but when you go to just play a pickup game, you just show up at the courts and you just start playing. But for some reason, when people play in the tournament, they feel like they need to warm up for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and I really don't see it being all that beneficial. It seems like just sticking to your routine, Dave, would be the best option. That's sort of a different topic that we can get into during a blowout. This isn't a blowout.
Actually, it's 6-0, going to 11. It's
okay, so you're saying
the equivalent of
I might be able to
short ball
to talk about that then. Maybe at about 8-0 we can revisit.
Second serve.
Okay.
8-0 while Dane's laying on the ground.
Okay.
And now
Dane just, I hate to use the word listless, Dave, but he just looks completely done right now.
6 serving 0.
6 serve 0. Great serve, make that 7-0. Doesn't make it to the front wall.
7 serving 0.
So anyway, Dave, that warm-up before the match that Bill's doing.
But Dane needs to fall on the floor first.
8 serving 0.
8 serve 0.
Dane is pretty much
no screen called there.
Laid the king down. in chess, when you just put your king down face first, that's a sign of a surrender.
9-0 here in the
king is
tiebreaker.
pretty much down right now.
We're going to 11.
Short ball.
Oh, that ball almost got over that line.
Luis Moreno checking out the
Second
action.
serve.
He enjoyed that analogy. Dave Vincent only knows how to play checkers and tic-tac-toe. Didn't get it.
Ah, that should be an avoidable.
Dane doesn't want it. Dane's
I didn't think it was that bad.
car is packed up right now, Dave, and
I thought you wanted
looks
it,
like
Dane,
he's
yeah.
just about ready to.
That's unbelievable. The
Hit the
referee's
old
calling a point here.
Match
Well, Dane
point,
actually
serving
said
0.
it was a point.
Here it is.
And that's
Beautiful
it.
serve, and he does it. He's in the big money now. Andy Nett defeats the great Dane Szatkowski.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, man.
Thanks for coming to the tournament, too.
No
Enjoy
problem,
yourself.
man.
He loses the first one 21-19, defeats Dane in the second one 21-19, and then 11-0 breaker.
Thanks, Terry.
And now we have Dave Chapman and Bill Mihalis coming up right around the corner. That is a very, very big win for Andy Nett. And tell me what you saw there from him. Is it just gaining confidence as he goes? He's not a three-wall player necessarily.
I think Andy right there disproved the theory that you have to be a three-wall player to take out a great three-wall player. He went in there and just played his game, stuck to his game plan, and beat Dane using his own game. We saw Andy get away from that just a little bit when Dane was able to take him up high and in the back court, and that's when Dane really took control of the match. Dane was able to exploit Andy from the back court and pinch balls into the right corner with Andy 20 to 30 feet behind him. But when Andy got in that server's box and just took control of the front court, not only winning easy points on his serve with a number of aces, but he also made a number of great kills and passes up there in the front court, just really overpowering Dane.
Well, we're going to take a timeout here at the courts in Kansas City for the Wph Ektelon Fireball 3-Wall Handball Classic. We're going to watch Bill Mihalis and David Chapman coming up next. Andy Nett just defeating Dane Szatkowski, going to go into the semifinals to face Emmett Peixote later this evening. So you obviously have some great handball coming up right around the corner. You stick around. We'll have more for Dave Fink.